All right, finally back. Holy moly. My wife called, and my wife does not ever call me. She just doesn't. And she called me, and actually, it wasn't a big deal. But because she called me, I was kind of worried. I didn't know if something had happened or what. All right. Oh my goodness, here's another one. Jeez. And this is Tampa Bay. This is a different one, by the way. This is a 6-year-old. Remember,
The
the
big
other one was a
problem has been multiple
3-year-old.
tornado warnings up on some of these bands kind of spinning through Louisiana in Arkansas. And that'll be the problem right through tonight as the storm continues to weaken. And by midweek, I mean, this is all non-tropical, and it'll just be a rainmaker moving up the Mississippi.
Okay, well, I don't care about the weather. I wish this
Valley. That will be that. The good news is when Beryl is off the map, we'll have a break. I'm not expecting any activity for at least the next 7 days.
Okay, I can't figure out how to
this is typically a
fast forward this, so I'm not going to bother. Hillsborough County, Florida. Hillsborough County deputies are investigating the death of a 6-year-old autistic in Brandon. Officials say they received a call about a missing child before 4 p.m. on Sunday. It's amazing how many passed on Sunday. I don't know what the heck it is with that Sunday in particular on July 3rd, but evidently was not a good day for autism. And okay, so it really doesn't say except for they just pulled the body, unfortunately. Isn't it crazy how many of these autistic kids pass? Trevor, did you have any idea how many autistic kids were dying until we started doing this stuff? Oh my goodness, and here's yet another one. I forgot there were this many.
With special needs has been missing for more than a week
And this
now.
is an adult.
That's right, and her family and authorities desperate at this point to find her, and they're asking for your help to try to bring her home. Gigi Graciette has the latest on the search.
Her name is Ziania Valora, but her loved ones call her Z. And today, they're pleading for help to find their 21-year-old daughter who has been missing for 9 days.
I'm very worried what she's eating and what she's drinking and how is she in general.
Z, who is autistic, left her Ojai home at 2:30 in the morning on June 24th, disappearing into the darkness of the early morning. She hasn't been seen or heard from since. Not a trace of the young girl who left her home barefoot, wearing only a t-shirt and shorts. Her parents baffled that none of the multiple security cameras at the Country Village mobile home park where they live caught even a glimpse of her that morning, leaving them to believe someone may have been waiting for her.
If you have her, please just come forward and give it back. Just want her back. It's the only thing that I'm asking. Please be compassionate and just bring her back.
Search and rescue teams were brought in from Ventura, Santa Barbara, and Los Angeles counties, searching a combined 1,000 miles for Ziania, but found nothing.
It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and we want more than anything to be able to bring.
And hopefully she wasn't like, this didn't have something to do with a person exploiting her and so forth. I hope that's not what happened.
Their daughter home safely.
Her family now spending their days putting up posters, walking the hills of Ojai themselves, searching in nearby cities, just in case, hoping to find the girl they love.
9 days in 9 nights. She could be in danger. I mean, she's in danger at every minute that she's out.
Complicating matters, Ziania, who speaks English and Spanish and who her parents say is extremely smart and talkative, suddenly turned nonverbal a few months ago. That combined with other behaviors, leading them to believe she may be suffering an undiagnosed mental health problem, in addition to her autism. That's another reason they're so worried.
We don't know what to think, so honest.
I really wonder what her online activity was. I really do.
honestly, we are heartbroken.
And the unknown is killing me because we don't know where she can be at this point.
Both Ziania's family and detectives are asking folks who live in Ojai to please search their backyards, their garages, sheds, just in case. But at this point, it has been 9 days, and everyone agrees that she could be anywhere. If you've seen her or have any information, please call 911. In Ventura, Gigi Graciette.
Yeah, somehow I keep getting reported, I believe, by, I don't know, haters or something. Study links genetic risk of autism to brain cell activity. Oh, my goodness. Study links genetic risk of autism to brain cell activity. What the hell else would you expect? They had to do a study for that? This is... Okay, am I seeing something wrong here, Trevor? Study links genetic risk of autism to brain cell activity. It's neurological? What? Okay, I'm not even... Okay, no, let's read it just for fun. Summary. I'm just going to read the summary. This is out of UCLA. Revealed the most detailed... No shit, Sherlock. Summary revealed the most detailed view yet of the biological mechanism underlying autism, linking genetic risk to cellular and genetic activity in the brain. Researchers used single-cell assays to analyze over 800,000 nuclei from post-mortem brain tissue of individuals with autism and neurotypical controls. That was one thing when my son passed. I couldn't get it, but they had already cremated him before I could get a DNA sample, because I did want to get a DNA sample, not to give to Spark or anything else like that, but there could be possible reasons that I would have wanted that DNA in the future. But that's not going to be, we're not going to be able to do that now. I can get it from my daughter and myself, but they, I mean, it would have been cool if they could have studied his brain or something else like that. I am not for an autism cure, but I am certainly not against studying autism. It's just when we start trying to get into cure and, quote, prevention, that it gets a little weird for me. The study identified major cortical cell types affected by autism and specific transcription factor networks driving these changes. These findings provide a framework for understanding the molecular changes in autism that could lead to new therapeutic approaches. Key facts. Single cell analysis. The study used single cell assays. Okay, we're already... Okay, interesting. But we definitely see a lot of studies coming out of UCLA. There's no doubt about that. Army veteran shares her experiences with autism. When you think of autism, what comes to mind? Do you think of a limiting? Do you think of a limiting disorder, stereotype, or condition only found in childhood? It's likely you may not realize the face of autism could be someone we know. It could be your best friend, your colleague, or your boss. Our human experiences are subjective, barring certain serious conditions. Okay, I don't care about that. Okay, why do I... So all this is that I served in the military, 2 combat deployments, most of them as an Army journalist. But knowing what I know now, it's much clearer to me how and why I felt I had to work so much harder to achieve the same goals as others. Why? Because she is autistic. It wasn't until I was 50 that I learned that there were adults like me with undiagnosed autism. Not long after that, I also learned that unconsciously masking these autistic traits can lead to long-term mental health outcomes, such as what I experienced with anxiety, depression, and burnout. I just hope my story helps to encourage others to want to learn more. Autism is a spectrum and not one size fits all. It is not a disease. It is a developmental disorder, or better yet, a differently wired brain. Yeah, I don't even like using the term disorder. It's a difference. Definitely a difference. Because there are neurotypicals with their hypersocialization. Now, that's a mental disorder, a developmental disorder for sure. That hypersocialization is a real problem. Particularly when people are more concerned about the social choices of other people over their family, etc. Because they're more worried about what other people would think or what have you than they are about what's best for their family. So I'm not going to go into this a whole lot. Basically, this is a military person that's autistic, and I was in the Navy. I was honorably discharged from the Navy after 4 years of service. So let's see, this is Army. So cool. Good for her. Oh my goodness, this is a good one. We're Neanderthals, buddy. We're Neanderthals. Study implicates Neanderthal DNA in autism susceptibility. Now, this doesn't mean that if we have a higher percentage of Neanderthal DNA that we are more likely to be autistic necessarily. But we definitely tend to have a lot more Neanderthal DNA, as I understand. People with autism don't have, we don't have more Neanderthal DNA than others who do not. Most modern humans have an average of around 2 to 3% of the Neanderthal DNA, and that has been proven. We've known that for years now. We're all a bunch of Neanderthals. Instead, researchers from Clemson and La Jolla University, that's New Orleans, I thought that was going to be California, discovered that Neanderthal-derived variations are more common in people with autism than in the general population. So let me read that again. They discovered that some Neanderthal-derived variations are more common in people with autism than the general population. Oh, I don't know diddly squat. I don't know diddly squat about DNA or anything. I sure wish I did. But I know we all are Neanderthal. So this is interesting that we do have certain types of Neanderthal DNA, that have a higher propensity to have certain types of Neanderthal DNA. I think that's kind of cool. That's a cool factor. This is the first evidence that I am aware of actually showing Neanderthal DNA associated with autism. Well, I wouldn't. Well, okay, technically, I guess you would say associated with autism, but it doesn't mean if you have DNA that you're good. Neanderthal DNA that you're going to be autistic. It just means that there's certain DNA that autistic people tend to have a higher propensity to have of said Neanderthal DNA. Neanderthals, okay, we all know that Neanderthals kind of died out and interbred with us. We interbred with them. Actually, what happened was we were one species. We split, and then we came back together, believe it or not. And then when we came back together, the Neanderthals, for whatever reason, disappeared. And we know that we interbred with them. In fact, do you know there is one skeleton that has been found that is literally a half Neanderthal and half Homo sapien? So it's the first direct proof that we, I guess, definitely had relations, so to speak, and it wasn't like inherited DNA from previous species or whatever else. No, we actually we went to bumping uglies together. Not everybody will develop autism, but all people who have these Neanderthal-derived variations will not develop autism. The hypothesis is not did Neanderthals give us autism. It's that Neanderthals gave us some of the gene tweaks that have a higher susceptibility for autism, basically. Feltus continued, autism is a complex trait. It is controlled by many, many genes. A big part of what we do in my lab is to try to understand the level of complexity, thank you, of the 60,000 genes in the human genome. How many of those genes are at play when developing autism or cancer or any other complex trait? Cool. So that's very interesting to know that that there is a Neanderthal factor, and I would love to find out more about that. And I cannot come up with one joke yet. Nothing came to me, but hopefully it will. This is one that, and I can't get into this, but basically, according to Nature magazine here, autistic people are 3 times more likely to develop Parkinson's-like symptoms. It says the largest study of its kind finds increased risk in older adults with a range of intellectual disabilities. A study of 250,000 people with autism, wow, intellectual disabilities, or both, has found the risk of developing symptoms associated with Parkinson's is 3 times that of the general population. And that's interesting because my father had Parkinson's, so I'm supposed to be going to the doctor here next month, so I probably ought to mention that I'm a very high risk factor for Parkinson's, because I was not aware of this, but this is very, very interesting to know, and I think I should mention that to my doctor. Okay. Did I get this story yet? Oh, Trevor, did you catch that story about the Neanderthal DNA? That we have Neanderthal DNA? Okay. Oh, this is out of the Down Under. Advertisements for supplements claiming to treat autism were banned. 3 supplement brands that claim to treat several medical conditions, including autism and ADHD, have been banned by the UK's Advertising Standards Authority. Unbelievable. So, snake oil is still being sold, and it still will be sold forever, particularly when it comes to autism and so forth. And this is out of, oh my goodness, out of Facebook. A paid for Facebook advertisement for Aspire Nutrition. Wow. The secret weapon parents of ASD kids swear by. Wow. It would be so great if it actually worked, you know? But we know that stuff doesn't work. Okay, here is yet another story of another kid. I think maybe I just on TikTok, I'm just going to start doing a TikTok every time one of these stories comes up, just to show people how prevalent this is, to draw attention to this. So this is Atlanta, Georgia. Yet another story. Child missing. Nonverbal child with that disease, autism. Missing from Atlanta Beltline, found safe, police stay. Atlanta, Georgia, a teen reported missing. Let's see. We don't care where they're missing from. Okay, we're really not getting a lot of details here, but there was a teen that was missing. And by the way, they were on 830 Wallaby Way. Just saying. Dory. It's 830. 830 Wallaby Way. Study suggests a promising new approach to understanding autism. ASD has yet to be linked to a single cause due to the wide range of its symptoms and severity. However, a study of the University of Virginia researchers suggest a promising new approach to finding answers, one that could lead to advances in the study of other neurological diseases and disorders. Current approaches to autism research involve observing and understanding the disorder through the study of behavioral consequences using techniques like functional magnetic resonance, imaging that map the brain's responses to input activity, but little work has been done to understand what's causing the responses. However, researchers with University of Virginia's College Graduate School of Arts and Sciences have been able to better understand psychological differences between the brain structures of autistic and non-autistic individuals through the use of diffusion MRI, a technique that measures the molecular diffusion in biological tissue. Wow. To observe how water moves through the brain and interacts with cellular membranes. Wow. This is very, very interesting. I did. Phone overheated too? Oh my goodness, that's not cool. That's not cool if the phone's overheating. The approach has helped UAV team develop mathematical models of brain microstructures. Wow. That have helped identify structural differences in the brains of those with autism and without. Now imagine if they put AI and quantum computing together with those studies. Holy moly. They'll be able to map stuff out really fast. Van Horn said there's a lot of work to be done with functional magnetic resonance imaging, looking at blood oxygen related signal changes in autistic individuals, but this research, he said, goes a little bit deeper. It's asking not if there's a particular cognitive function activation difference, it's asking how the brain actually conducts information around through these dynamic networks, Van Horn said. And I think that we've been successfully showing that there's something that's uniquely different about autistic spectrum disorder diagnosed individuals relative to otherwise typically developing control subjects. Well, yeah, I'd say our brains are a little bit different. This study provides a foundation for a biological target to measure treatment response and allows us to identify avenues for future treatments to be developed. And treatments means cure. They're going to treat it and cure it. This is a new tool for measuring properties of neurons, and we are particularly excited about, and we will be exploring what we might be able to detect with it. Okay, that's kind of cool. I mean, look at this. Dopamine disruption linked to autism. Okay, we all know that. I'm not even going to read this article. With ADHD and autism, we know that there are dopamine deficiencies and that we really, really, really need that dopamine. I think that that's where the THC, it helps to either replace that dopamine or interact somehow or fake its way through it or something like that. But that's basically what we get, is a faking our way through it. Oh, here we are. And here we go again. I think we looked into this. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week, and today it was mentioned. Could we assess autism in children with a simple eye reflex test? And the answer is yes. They're doing a lot of testing on that right now, and it seems that it could be possible, and they are doing lots of experiments with that. So that could be promising. It may not be. And finally, autism's brain structure secrets revealed. This is a paper, and I'm not going to sit. Oh, maybe. So, key facts. The UVA, let's see. The UVA study utilized diffusion MRI. So, these MRIs are getting very, very popular. And they're evidently these MRIs are in very different settings, and they're measuring a lot of different things. But they're definitely loving these MRIs right now. To identify differences in brain microstructures between autistic and non-autistic individuals, revealing lower electrical conductivity in autistic brains due to variations in axon diameter. These structural differences have been directly linked to scores on social communication questionnaire, enhancing the potential for precise diagnostic and therapeutic approaches. The research is part of the NIH Autism Center of Excellence initiative, aiming to pioneer a precision medicine approach to understanding and treating autism. Autism spectrum disorder is yet to be linked to a single cause due to the wide range of symptoms and severity. That is a horrible sentence, and it's not right. But okay. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Whoop. See how they summarize it here. This is a new tool for measuring properties of neurons, which we are particularly excited about. We will be exploring what we might do to be able to detect it with. Okay, so yeah, this is the same old thing. The same thing. All right, well, this is about it, and I am going to call it good for the day. This has been the news. This is David Page. Screw them. Flapper.
Well, tonight we're learning more.
Actually, I just found some new stuff here. Let's go here.
A young child seriously injured.
This all happened on Weaver Road near the 7175 overpass shortly before 1 o'clock this morning. The Boone County Sheriff's Department.
Oh.
A fundraiser was held today in support of a young boy with autism slapped by a man, presumably because a child touched his Mercedes. It is a story that you saw first right here on 5, and it's become the slap felt across SoCal.
Yeah, and this outpouring of help for the family has truly been amazing. Gene King is live for us in Elysian Park. He's got more on that. Gene?
Hi, Rick and Karine. After Alfredo, the boy with autism, was slapped, it seems like so many people here in Southern California are going out of their way to help the Morales family. It's a hopeful image after they've endured so much. The Morales family selling pupusas at Elysian Park.
And then obviously, the fact that it was like right in our backyard.
And the community came together in Sun Valley Sunday in support of 10-year-old Alfredo Morales.
We're here for Alfredito, and we're here to make sure we're going to serve as much as we can to the community so we can get as much as donations we can to give to the family.
It touched me because of the fact that he's autistic. I have a son that is high-functioning autistic. My backyard, I grew up in Pacoima.
July 1st, this beloved boy with autism was crossing the street in Pacoima with his sister when he touched a Mercedes-Benz. The driver made a U-turn, followed them to a bus stop, and slapped Alfredo, seen in this now viral video, despite his sister sharing that the boy has special needs.
Hey, sir.
Since then, it sparked outrage and an outpouring of support for the Morales family. At the time, they were homeless and living out of a broken truck after the father lost his job at a restaurant. But they're slowly getting back on their feet with compassionate, generous donations that allow them to have temporary housing.
We see the video that was posted and it broke our heart. So we're out here supporting as much as we can.
Kindness from the
This is actually awesome.
With a GoFundMe page that's raised more than $70,000 so far, surpassing its
Wow.
goal. Even rapper Swifty Blue pledged to help to repair their truck.
I told them we're gonna fix the transmission, rebuild the transmission, whatever it takes, so we're gonna help them get mobile.
Local housing officials are assisting the Morales family. An attorney is helping them seek justice. KTLA has reached out to the driver for a statement. However, he is reportedly out of town. And tonight, the Morales family says they are determined to move forward, and they're so grateful for everyone's support. If you'd like to donate, we've linked you up at ktla.com. Reporting here,
that's
live
pretty
at
awesome.
Park, Gene.
That's pretty awesome. That's all I got to say. What's this?
From 2018 to 2020, autism diagnosis increased roughly 15% in 8-year-old white children compared to more than 30% in Black, Hispanic, and Asian children. Many are diagnosed at age 3, but Dr. Vanderbilt says it needs to happen sooner.
Early identification and early interventions can be very helpful at optimizing a child's ability to interact and to learn.
The CDC study revealed high awareness in California, which had the highest rate of identifying children. Dr. Vanderbilt says if you're concerned
Okay.
experiencing things in life.
Anything else? Any other preschool autism summit, autism ADHD child's own videos or cartoons? 10 hours ago.
जो सुनील लुबना कौशल जानना चाहती हैं कि क्या बच्चों को अगर कार्टून नहीं दिखाने हैं तो उनके वीडियोस दिखा सकते
I can't. I don't understand you. Too bad. Sorry. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up for the day. And this Thursday, I will be doing an interview with a couple that are autistic, and they are dating in a long distance relationship, and I'd like to talk about that. And I'm very excited to talk to both of them. This is David Page. Screw them. Flap harder.